Hi everyone, this is Lex Tan, and for those of you who haven't come across me before, I'm a radio and television personality in the city of Toronto. What I also do is I also host a weekly wrestling radio show called Ringside Heat, which can be heard Sundays at 6 o'clock p.m. on News Talk Saga 960 a.m., as well as on Spotify and other podcasting services. Now today, October the 22nd, is actually a pretty special day for me, and I just found out of it just a few days ago, but when I did find out, it really hit me hard. It is International Stuttering Awareness Day, and the reason why it's close to my heart is because as a child I stuttered and stammered, and I still do. That affliction has continued into my adult life, and I just want to let you guys know, while there is no quote-unquote cure or simple treatment for stuttering or stammering, and maybe I should not even say stuttering or stammering, but I think these days it might actually be better referred to as a speech fluency disorder. There are many, many people around the world who become successful in all professions despite having this speech fluency disorder or speech disfluency, but they've learned to manage the disorder and be able to go about daily life as best as they can. A lot of people actually outgrow it in childhood, but for those who it continues into adulthood, like myself, we just try to manage it the best we can. And one of the people out there who's really successful, who does have a fluency disorder, and that is Toronto Blue Jay George Springer. I just learned about that he had a stutter as a child, and it continued as an adult, and he has learned techniques and things like that so he can mitigate it whenever he needs to present himself to the media or to talk to his fellow teammates or maybe to the management, whatnot. And hey, you know what? He's been so successful at it that you wouldn't know that he does have this this fluency disorder, and I'm like that too. For many people around there, just see me or hear me do my traffic reports, or even just listen to me on the radio, whatever like that, or see me on TV, it doesn't seem like I do because I know how to mitigate that now. But I'm sure the people who spent much time with me growing up and even into my adulthood, and the people who kind of understand me the way I am right now, if you told that person that I wanted to get into radio, television, media, they probably think to themselves, what in the world is that trying to do? He's trying to get into a profession, an industry where he has to talk properly and he can't even form a full sentence. And you know what? That also had people around me when I was growing up as a kid trying to tell me, oh, you need to talk slower, you need to stop being nervous, you need to think about what you're supposed to say, etc., etc., etc. Basically the wrong things to tell somebody who has a stutter, who has a stammer, who has a speech fluency disorder of some sort. And one thing I would have appreciated very much as a child is an understanding that yes, this is happening. I know it's important what you're trying to say, and you know you're feeling daunted right now because the mechanisms feel like they're not working the right way you want them to. But you know what? I'll open a safe space for you so you can be able to get your thoughts out and communicate those thoughts to me. I would have loved to hear that. I'll give you a safe space. Take whatever you need to do. If you need to stutter, if you need to go back and forth in order to get the thoughts out, yes, here, I'll provide that space, and maybe we can build on strategies and techniques to help you get past this and speak more and get past the fluency disorder. Now, here's the thing too. I'll tell you right now, one of the reasons why I was bullied in school incessantly from the first grade all the way up to the 8th grade is partly because of my stutter. And I wasn't even given the space to properly speak and communicate because of it. Because, if I'm trying to explain something and something starts to happen and I start to go, and those kind of things. Or maybe I'm talking and all of a sudden my throat just closes and the speech is interrupted this way. it gives people who thought the wrong things about what stuttering is and what stammering is the wrong impression, that I'm not confident in what I want to say, that I don't know what I want to say, and therefore dismiss me and invalidate my opinions and invalidate my attempt to communicate. And that is something that is a very dangerous thing. It's a very disheartening thing as well. And when it gives, that's because people think that it's not something neurological, it's something within the emotional, it's something within the mental thing, but it isn't. Now, I'll tell you one thing. I've seen some studies and I've seen some statistics that that organizations that create awareness for speech fluency disorder. I can tell you right now that studies have shown that it's more of a neurological brain functioning thing rather than an emotional, a mental thing or whatever like that. So it happens, it just happens. And apparently it happens to people who are more right-brained. And there's a lot more right brain activity in people who do have speech fluency disorder. And because I'm so right-brained, I'm so creative, I need to express this a level of expression of creativity through my music, through drama, through even broadcasting, because I have this creativity that's so almost overwhelming. So this is just me non-scientifically thinking about this, but this is just something that I think, and maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, but because the studies have shown that it is more of a right brain thing, maybe that's the reason why, because the creativity from my right brain is so overwhelming to me sometimes that maybe that's one of the things. I don't know. There's no science behind what I just said over here, but so take that with a grain of salt. But because it is a neurological thing, and people dismissed me, that added to the anxiety when it became time for me to speak and it came time for me to communicate in that sort of way. And it's something that I still have to manage to this day. Even when I'm on the air recording kind of like this, or when I'm like actually live to air up in the Global News helicopter and I'm telling people about, telling the viewers about the traffic that's happening on the ground or whatever like that, and we're live, Candice Daniel, I'm about to throw it to Candice Daniel, I just talked to Liam Vu or something like that, and boom, there it is, I have to go and do it. For some reason, when I'm live on the air, when I'm like on stage, I'm music and acting, it mitigates itself. I don't stutter or whatever like that, and I don't have that. So when I think about all of these different factors in this, and I take account of things that have happened in my life recently and through the course of it, it seems like I've always been the one to defy odds and to buck trends. As I said, I was the kid in school who was bullied every day of my life in elementary school, and in an era where the system seemed to protect the aggressor rather than protect the victim. Even when all of that bullying stopped because I took myself out of the elementary school, I graduated really, and put myself in a school where I wouldn't be around the people that bullied me. Even though I was out of the environment, because it had been so ingrained in my mind, I ended up bullying myself for the different things, and I still kind of do in some sort of ways. However, even with all of that negativity and all of that affliction and all of the programming that was in my head that shouldn't have been there, I still found a way to connect with my creativity, to create with my passions, and help that make my life mean something. I had to I was the Asian kid who didn't do well at math in high school. I was the Asian kid who actually told my parents to stop paying for Royal Conservative piano lessons, and then find a way on my own to learn piano and guitar and music without all the formal training, because that's the way I had to work. That's the way my creativity was going and needed to be explored that way, as opposed to what was going on in my left logical brain. I even made it to the Humber Music program without formal training. As a young kid, I got a chance to arrange a medley of World Youth Day theme musics from all the way from '84 up to whenever I did World Youth Day, and that was used to promote the World Youth Day events around the city of Toronto and the Greater Toronto area, and eventually it came to a head when we were asked to perform it for World Youth Day itself in 2002, and then on for the welcome of St. Pope John Paul II to Exhibition Place. Who would have thought that this kid who didn't know or had this anxiety to communicate because of what was going on in his body, still somehow got to be up on stage and share the stage with one of the most famous people in the history of music, in the history of humankind, really. And then when I was in university, I took theater. I had the guts to say, no to conventional courses and go and study theater, which obviously is, not exactly the most practical thing to do. Now, also, when I started my radio career, my media career, I worked in radio promotions, and I had no promise of ever being on the air. I still went out on a remote broadcast in the freezing rain to Ontario Place and taking a sound system with huge speakers, a tent, a heavy tent on wheels, okay, and the swag I had to give away, the table, all the equipment I needed, the electronics, and set up in the freezing rain on that Ontario Place island where there's where they usually do the Chinese Lantern Festival, and there's a fake ice rink in the middle there and a stage. I was there to set up set up a footprint basically for that particular event that was happening, and I had to do that by myself in the freezing rain because no other coworkers or interns were able to join me. They ducked out, especially the interns who weren't getting paid for it, were ducking out because they didn't want to deal with the freezing rain themselves and be out in the cold. But guess what? I did that because I had to be the one to defy the odds. I had to be the one to buck the trend. I had to be the one to come through. Also, when I had several life changes happening, with everything falling apart to ground zero, building up from ground zero, from my mental health, my physical health, my wellness, my finances, my career prospects, at an age where someone would never expect to enter broadcasting school, a person with a speech fluency disorder, somehow I was able to become an on-air personality in the biggest media market in Canada. And I think that is probably the most proudest accomplishment of my career and my life so far. And again, it's because there seems to be a trend in my life that I buck those trends, that I defy the odds and create a life for myself that has all of that, or that has an enjoyment, and that seems to defy conventional thinking. But here's the thing. I also understand that I'm talking about all these things right now because I'm coming from a place of privilege. My parents, they didn't want to raise their family in the Philippines. They wanted to raise their family in Canada because they said they want to give their kids a better life. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because of that privilege I was given, I also find it to be a disservice to myself and the privilege that I was given if I wasn't pursuing something like, my music and my acting and my broadcasting career, things that spoke to me in a way that I needed to, that made my creativity, that nurtured my creativity and got in touch with not just the creativity, the right brain thing, but it's also the work of the heart. The work of the heart, and I'll get into that in a second. It's about thriving. Now, as opposed to surviving, it's about thriving. And I think this all comes to head with two quotes I heard this week from Diamond Dallas Page, former professional wrestler and yoga program creator and wellness instructor. Diamond Dallas Page is his name, so you can look him up on social media. He says, number one, be your biggest fan, and number two, never underestimate the power you give yourself by believing in you. Because if you, number one, don't cheer for yourself and believe that you can do more than survive, no one will cheer for you. Heck, Steve Harvey keeps telling us the story that when he was 27 and he wanted to become a stand-up comedian, his own mother told him, "You're not funny." His own mother told him he was not funny, and that no one was going to laugh at his jokes, and he was not going to put food on the table. But guess what? Look at the career he made for himself. He gave himself the look by buying the look. He was so funny that he became one of the original kings of comedy, and he's put food on the table. He put food on the table because of the hard work that he does, because he enjoys the work that he does and everything. And that's why I got into broadcasting, because if I wanted to put my hard work, my blood, my sweat, my tears, my everything into something, I want to be able to do something I believe in. I want to do something that I connect with. I want to do something that fulfills me as a person. And as a result, that light inside can shine out to everybody out there that comes my way. If I were to go and operate a subway for a living, yeah, sure, I'm benefiting millions of people. Don't get me wrong, subway operators, transit operators, much respect to you, because that's not an easy job to do. Yeah, but either way, I'll be sitting in the subway cab, moving the lever up to make it go, pulling it back to make it stop. And that, yes, serving the people, yes, doing a great service, yes, but that's not fulfilling to me. And I know I'm saying this right now because of the choices that I have. That is a privilege, and a privilege that I can't take for granted. And that's why I need to pursue my broadcasting. I need to pursue these interests. I need to pursue these things because it would be a disservice to the idea that we come here for a better life. Our parents come here for a better life for their kids, instead of, but then the better life for the kids is not surviving, but finding a way to thrive. It's how do I put it? It's to change the mindset from the need to survive and direct it little by little. If it has to go slowly, go slowly. Direct it little by little from the need to survive to the desire to thrive. And I've had heart-wrenching arguments with those people around me who questioned my career choices and my mindset. And no, don't get me wrong, I agree about working hard and busting my ass to get to success. But here's the thing, as I said, it's like, if I believe, if I love what I do, if I connect with what I do, and I enjoy what I do, then I can put in the hard work. I can put in all those hours because I enjoy that. And it is from there that helps me to perform, that helps me to succeed, and helps me to grow and overcome my speech disfluency. Because when hard work is all you do, it becomes easier and easier to lose sight of the ideals and the vision that you may have. But if you keep your ideals and your vision in your heart and get your mind to pursue it, then it turns the hard work into heart work. And that is important to me. It's important to me to be able to communicate properly. It's important for me that others communicate properly to me. But I had to do the hard work to find a way to mitigate my speech disorder, so that the heart work of me speaking, the heart work of me listening, and being able to freely get ideas across and communicate properly, that's where the heart is for me. It's still a long way to go. And I'm just getting started, because any one of you who knows me, my dream job is to go into WWE and call matches for Raw, for SmackDown, for WrestleManias. That's the dream job, and I want to get there. And if not there, Toronto Blue Jays baseball, Toronto Maple Leaf hockey, whatever. Stuff like that. Toronto Raptors basketball. I mean, I love to take your job, Matty D. Don't get me wrong. I love you, but I want your job, Matty. I want your job, Matt Devlin. Oh, yeah. But either way, to get to this point in my life right now, because those of you who know me know how long I've been down in the dumps and the doldrums. It took a long time for me to get here. I had to be my own biggest fan and believe in myself that I could get here. And if you do know someone with a speech fluency disorder, or you know of someone, or maybe you even have a child with that's experiencing this, do the work to truly understand. Do the work to build them up. Learn to say the right things. Learn what the wrong things are to say and avoid those things, because what you want to do for somebody experiencing this, you want to provide a safe space for them to work it through and be present. See them for who they are, not what you want them to be. See them for who they are in this moment, and then build from there. The people who experience this, such as myself, we have to battle every day. So we need compassion. We need to help build ourselves, and we need that safe space to come home to. So, out of everything I've said here today, out of everything that you've sat here and listened to me do and say, so I'll end this video by saying what Diamond Dallas Page said in his WWE Hall of Fame speech. And I quote, "Never underestimate the power you give yourself by believing in you."